I think people are worried about the size of the job. And that comment has been made to me as well about perhaps it's too big for one person. But I do actually disagree with that, because it's not Cressida Dick who goes out to the burglary or to the rape or to the counterterrorism incident. The trick is you have a good team around you. You have competent people who have operational experience, know what they're doing, know what they're talking about. And the majority of police officers are like that. They are very good individuals and they're good at their jobs. So as long as you've got a good team around you and a good leader builds a good team, then I think it's doable. And even though it's a complex job, it's not an impossible job.
Well, you were part of that team, and you know, when you joined the police force, you had high hopes that you might get to the top and you might become the first female commissioner of the Met, which might have been rather better for the constabulary as a whole. In your book, you were quite explicit about the fact that there was racism and misogyny in the police force. Do you think that's true today? There've been reports of it, and there've been, you know, very weird stories about one police officer at one station in London, how someone comes in drunk and the policeman winds up having sex with her, and they have a big investigation into that. Do you think there is still a culture of misogyny and racism in the force?
I absolutely do. And I'm flattered that you've read the book or skimmed through it as appropriate. But yes, that sort of behaviour does actually exist, and it still exists now. And the reason that I can say that with such strength of conviction is because I still mentor people. I still look after some up and coming younger people who've just joined or who are in the process of joining. And some of the stories that I'm hearing are the same as when I joined just over 30 years ago. So it hasn't changed. And the incident that you're referring to was at Charing Cross, and there has been a report about it. But there were 10 people involved there, 10 officers. And of those 10 officers, it appears only one has been sacked. And the others, one retired and came back and got a job again. The others are right across the Met, and they will be talking to other people, spreading their values, their morals or lack of, and sharing their inappropriate behaviour with others and possibly affecting their attitudes. I think we are at a real crossroads here where a good leader needs to take hold of the Met and actually stand up for what is right and create a safe environment for individuals to call out bad behaviour. If you get the Metropolitan Police right, then the service to the public will improve with it. But if you're not treating your staff right and your staff are not right, then you're not going to be treating the public in the way that they should be.
Well, let's explore that a bit, because that's interesting to me. John O'Sullivan, who was Mrs. Thatcher's speechwriter, he said about 20 years ago that the police had become the paramilitary wing of The Guardian. And there's a lot of people around the country who feel that way. They read stories about someone making a transphobic tweet, and a couple of hours later there's a knock on the door and the officer is demanding to know what they meant by it. We've had these situations, I don't think at the Met, but in some rural constabularies, where for LGBTQ month they actually paint themselves into rainbow police cars. And yet at the same time you're saying that back at base, these guys are basically unreconstructed racists and misogynists. So it's almost like this whole thing, we are the wokest constabulary that has ever existed. And then the minute they get back to base, they in fact haven't changed at all. It seems like a weird psychological situation to be in.
Mark, I do need to make the point that the majority of police officers are good people, and they're there for the right reasons, and they are there because they want to make a difference and they want to work to the best of their ability. We've got a minority of people who are all of those things: racist, sexist, misogynistic, and homophobic. And those are the ones, and the actions of those individuals are the ones that are letting down that majority of good people. And that's where I talk about having that safe environment so that the good people, the good police officers can say, there's something wrong with that guy over there or that female over there, or she's not behaving appropriately. But we haven't got, within policing, we haven't got that safe environment. And so when you're talking about outwardly, I've never seen the rainbow car, but outwardly, if they are painting themselves
I
into
think
cars,
that was Leicestershire or somewhere.
I'll take your word for it.
I think it was Leicestershire or Northamptonshire, East Midlands somewhere, I believe. Yeah.
I'm going to have to Google that just to see the car. But if they're doing that outwardly, they might be seen to be woke or whatever term you want to use. But back at the base, yes, there's language, there's behaviours that are not acceptable. And there are good police officers who are too frightened to call that behaviour out, because then they will be sent to Coventry, they'll be, isolated, they'll be demeaned, they'll be targeted. And there is that fear, that genuine fear of being that next person that's going to be bullied.